How glorious, how beautiful you are. Beautiful one I love, beautiful one I adore, beautiful one my soul must sing. Powerful, so powerful, your glory fills the skies. Your mighty works displayed for all to see, all to see. The beauty of your majesty awakes my heart to sing. How marvelous, how wonderful you are. Beautiful one I love, beautiful one I adore, beautiful one my soul must sing. Beautiful one I love, beautiful one I adore, beautiful one my soul must sing. You opened my eyes to your wonders anew. You captured my heart with this love. 'Cause nothing on earth is as beautiful as you. You opened my eyes to your wonders anew. You captured my heart with this love. 'Cause nothing on earth is as beautiful as you. Beautiful one I love, beautiful one I adore, beautiful one my soul must sing. Beautiful one I love, beautiful one I adore, beautiful one my soul must sing. Faithful love flowing down from the thorn-covered crown makes me whole, saves my soul, washes whiter than snow. Faithful love calms each fear, reaches down, dries each tear, holds my hand when I can't stand on my own. Faithful love, from above, came to earth to show the Father's love. And I'll never be the same, for I've seen faithful love face to face, and Jesus is his name. Faithful love is a friend just when hope seems to end. Welcome face, sweet embrace, tender touch filled with grace. Faithful love, endless power, living flame, Spirit's fire, burning bright in the night, guiding my way. Faithful love, from above, came to earth to show the Father's love. And I'll never be the same, for I've seen faithful love face to face, and Jesus is his name.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We've been making our way through the book of Psalms over the last little bit, and we've for various reasons, been disrupted from it here the last week or two, but we're back on course. Psalm 61 this week, by my reckoning. Hopefully that's correct. It's where I left my mark at, and because as we go through, I've got notes for all of these psalms. The next few coming up as well. But by my reckoning, we are at Psalm 61, and so that is what we'll be looking at today. So going to Brother Waycaster's general introduction that I like to look at to kind of get a feel for his take on it. Also, he's usually pretty good about noting some of the general consensus that others have said about it as well. He notes that from the psalm itself, a fairly short psalm, just 8 verses, it says, from the psalm itself, it seems to have been composed by one who was in exile, and he says that because of verse 2. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. Okay, I can see that. Writing from the end of the earth. And one that was king, verse 6. That also makes sense to me. So I could agree with that. The superscription here, it notes a Psalm of David, but it doesn't give a specific occasion. But I could see that. I can see why he says written during a period of exile by someone who was king. It fits David on more than one occasion. But here he says, it was likely composed by David when he was driven into exile on the rebellion of Absalom. Note 2 Samuel 17:22. I did note that verse, and I don't get it. I don't see the connection he's making there at all. I don't know. Perhaps some of you out there may help me a bit there. I don't see it. So I agree. It looks like an occasion written from exile by David, as the superscription suggests, by a king. But I don't see anything that would point to a more specific occasion than that. He also says the 42nd and 43rd Psalms seem to have been composed on the same occasion. Again, I don't see it, but I could be wrong. As I've already noted, it's a fairly short psalm, only 8 verses. Personally, if you're kind of looking at a way to break this one up, I'm inclined, in fact, I even drew a little dividing line here in my notes to the side. After verse 4, before verse 5, primarily because of that word we've noted a number of times, Selah, indicating a pause, sometimes indicating a change in thought by way of that pause. Brother Waycaster breaks it down a bit differently, and he actually breaks it down in a way that doesn't have that same dividing line. And I can see his point as well in the way that he's broken it down. He would put the first 5 verses together, and then verses 6 through 8. Again, that fits. I can certainly see that. More specifically, he has there's a request in verses 1 and 2. The psalmist speaks of refuge in verses 3 through 5, reassurance in verses 6 and 7, and then a result in verse 8. So, noting all of these things, it is a fairly vanilla psalm, and by that I mean it's that. You have 100+ psalms, and a great many of them tend to sound very similar to one another. This basic idea in which you have the psalmist in some dire circumstance calling out for the Lord's help, and then reflecting upon his faith that God will deliver him. So it kind of fits that mold to some extent. But there are a few things I want to note as we make our way through it. Beginning verse 1, hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth, again, thinking potentially someone who's on the run, who's in exile, will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. It also certainly fits. Certainly, as Brother Waycaster thinks, Absalom's rebellion, it would certainly fit that. Again, though I don't know if that's specifically the case, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy. Again, kind of a standard vanilla thought from the Psalms. Who is the enemy? We don't know. Could be Saul and his ilk, could be those who were following after Absalom. in any number of occasions fit. I will abide, verse 4, in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of thy wings. And that thought there, you may think of Matthew 23:37. That came to my mind. There's Jesus is lamenting over Jerusalem and the state of the Jewish people in his own day, and speaks of how God would have loved to have covered it under his wing like a hen. The same type of imagery here in Psalm 61:4. Now, of course, famously, Jesus laments the fact that God's people, the Israelites, the Jews, again, certainly by his day, there in the first century, had just refused it. And here you have the psalmist, who wants that very thing. So, I will abide in thy tabernacle, I will trust in the covert of thy wings. Again, Selah indicating a pause. Although I can see the point of the outline Brother Waycaster has, because verse 5 starts with the word for, right? So he's kind of still connecting this thought. For thou, O God, hast heard my vows. Thou hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name. Again, presumably Israelites. Leadership over the Israelite people. Thou wilt prolong the king's life and his years as many generations. Kind of set to the side there. I jotted a little note in the margin here. 2 Samuel 7, 12 and 13, question mark. We've been talking about this passage for the last couple of weeks in our Bible study on Sunday mornings. They're a very, very well-known passage in which God, in responding by way of Nathan to David's desire to build a house for God, a temple, God responds back to David, actually, David, I'm going to build you a house. And in the midst of that, there's this idea that David's throne is going to be established. It's going to be a kingdom that's established forever. And again, we've been talking about that in Bible class, so I won't rehash it. But somewhat similar thought here, I think. My judgment, Psalm 61, 5 and 6. Thou hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name. Thou wilt prolong the king's life and his years as many generations. Not exactly the same thought, but similar to it. This idea that God has set him up to be king over his people, and because of that, because of God's faithfulness, God is certainly going to preserve him and take care of him. Again, very similar thought to what we see in many a psalm. He shall abide before God forever. O prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him. So will I sing praise unto thy name forever, that I may daily perform my vows. You might note there Luke 11, verse 3, regarding this day of going, taking care of what's needful from day to day. Similar thought. All right, and of course, Luke 11:3, they're speaking of daily bread, right? The idea that you take one day at a time, you worry about the necessities of one day at a time. It seems to me similar to what he's saying here, right? I have faith that God is going to look out for me because of how he's done in the past. I'm going to continue to praise him so that I can set about doing what I need to do from one day to the next. So, a wonderful thought to end this psalm on, and that's Psalm 61 in a nutshell. Lord willing, we will continue on next time, looking at the next one up, Psalm 62. Thank you very much for your kind attention today.
Over all the earth you reign on high, every mountain stream, every sunset sky. But my one request, Lord, my only aim, is that you'd reign in me again. Lord, reign in me, reign in your power, over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again? Over every thought, over every word, may my life reflect the beauty of my Lord, 'cause you mean more to me than any earthly thing. So So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again?